I hope that shows up. Did it? I don't know. Let's see what it looks like on the screen. I should have moved that down, so I'm gonna get it. Okay. All right. We're gonna be able to see that one a little bit better between the two of them. Just can't see the title. Okay. All right. You will need note-taking materials for this live, virtual or physical, whatever one works best for you. On your own, go ahead and inhale and exhale 3 times, deep cleansing breaths, just to quiet the amygdala and allow the prefrontal cortex to know that we are getting ready to engage this morning with it and the other high-functioning regions of the brain. So on your own, inhale and exhale 3 times. Good morning. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Good morning, Regina. Now, this morning, before we get into it, we are going to be in the effective section of Real Leaders, of the principles of real leadership, and we're on principle number 10, set and maintain high standards. Now, this morning, when I woke up, I was preparing for the live, I found myself worrying. And so I was going to do fermented for the real leader brain in the PA for today. And instead, I looked up the definition of worry, and I'd like to share that with you this morning and then go into the lesson for today. So the definition of worry is a state of anxiety or unease, often about potential problems or uncertain outcomes, leading to repetitive thoughts or concerns. I'll say that again. A state of anxiety or unease, often about potential problems or uncertain outcomes, leading to repetitive thoughts or concerns. So then, after I received that definition, I then said, because I am now working on neuromobility by the hour, well, what reasons? Where is worry originating? what, what part of the brain could be the origin of worry? Let me think about that for a second. The amygdala. The amygdala. So worrying primarily involves the amygdala, which triggers the fear response. And then the prefrontal cortex says, okay, I got this. Let me start overthinking and planning the worry. And then the ACC says, hold up. The anterior cingulate cortex says, hold up. Good morning, Lola. Wait a minute. I want in on this. Let me in too. Pick me, coach. Put me in the game. And so then the ACC starts sustaining the negative thoughts. And then this cycle just repeats itself over and over and over again. So the next time, and again, if you have high states of worry, and I'm not a medical professional, go seek medical attention. But if you just find yourself with regular, schmegular, everyday worries, the amygdala started it. It started in the amygdala and said, you know what? I think we might have some problems. I think this might not go well. I don't have any evidence whatsoever that this is true. But hey, prefrontal cortex, we got problems. What? We got problems. Oh my goodness, where are the problems at? Oh, let me strategize about these problems. I gotta get the whiteboard out and everything. And the ACC, like, yep, shit going left. It's going left. It's going left. It's going left. Woo! And let me see you something else to worry about. And then, and remember in 1972, all because, good morning, Sabrina. Good morning. All because the amygdala started it. So the next time you find yourself worrying, you go, listen here, almond-shaped amygdala. This is a perceived threat and it might not even be true. So before you start planning and strategizing your worry and start accepting negative thoughts from the ACC, ask yourself, is this true? Is it actually happening now? Do what Alanon says and be where your feet are. Or is it a perceived? it is often a potential problem, uncertain outcomes, and it's going to lead to repetitive thoughts that may or may not actually occur. It's not even actually happening, but the amygdala said, I think it might happen. So let's worry about it. Could happen. It could. So if it could, let's do something about could. Ain't happening, might not happen, but just in case. So no worrying, no worrying, no worrying for me. And why were you worrying, Dr. Donna? Because Dr. Donna took all her posts private on social media after 9.5 years. So the fucking amygdala wants to make sure I'm doing the right thing. This 15,800 posts on Instagram, amygdala. Somebody want to look at something, this 15,800 posts, but the amygdala like, yeah. But what about, I don't care. I no longer care about that. 9.5 years is enough proof. And then now I'm not doing the 4 a.m. club in the morning anymore. I've been doing that since June of 2016. So it's like, but now people aren't going to think that you wake up early. And now people are going to think, it's 15,800 posts. You know how many 4 a.m. clubs? It's 2,000 and something journées with a 400 with the 4 a.m. club in it. It's a bunch of highlights. So the amygdala is mad because I switched up the style. I switched up what I was doing after 9.5 years. The amygdala is pissed and it wants me to be concerned. So I'm telling you, when you change, when you embrace change and you do something different after 9.5 years, the amygdala is going to be worried. It's going to warn you and say, this is not a good idea. You leaving the comfort cocoon. What are people going to think? Dr. Donna, if 15,800 posts and 11,500 YouTube videos and 17.5 billion views on Jiffy ain't enough to tell people I know what the fuck I'm doing on social media, then I don't know what is. I don't know. I have to switch. For my own neurological growth and development, my working memory has to switch. When I started doing 4 a.m. clubs and I started doing all that, I had 800 videos on YouTube and I had 9 playlists. And now I got 133 playlists and 11,500 YouTube videos. I think it's okay if I change up the style. I think the format. I think it's okay to let that sunset and grow into something else. So me being live and having my whole morning to prepare for the live and not have my day where I got to keep doing this again and again and again, I'm building a whole new community and it's got to be private because we need a safe space. We need people to stop entering in and fucking with us. And now I got to decide what I'm going to do. I did decide everything is going to subscription-based private. And we're not going to have infiltrators just coming in all willy-nilly, just saying whatever they want to say. So my amygdala is not happy about that decision this morning. And that's where the worry came from. So when you're ready to change something, know that the amygdala is going to remind you of all the reasons why this won't be a good idea and it won't bode well for you. And you tell the amygdala, this is my rational plan. This is why I'm doing this. And this is the next evolution. There are 6.8 billion unaccountable adults in the world. So I have to make a enormous galaxy jump. Okay? All right. So set and maintain high standards is the principle of real leadership that we are using this amazing Saturday morning. Hopefully it's Saturday. I think it's Saturday. Success will never be achieved with mediocre standards. That's the Dr. Donna quote that's in my book. Success will never be achieved with mediocre standards. You will not have 100% be the best success with mediocre standards. And so I'm raising my own standard for myself. And I'm saying it's time for the community of real leaders to be built. And in order to do that, it has to be behind a paywall. It has to be invisible to the unaccountables, because if they can't see it, they can't infiltrate it. All right. So what regions of the brains are used to set and maintain high standards? Setting and maintaining high standards engages several interconnected regions of the brain, blending executive control, empowerment, regulation, and reward processing. Let me change that. And so there are 8 regions of the brain involved in setting and maintaining high standards. Number 1, our homie PFC, prefrontal cortex. It's central for goal setting, decision making, evaluating outcomes, and self-monitoring. The PFC, muy importante. Number 2 is the homie's cousin, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And it is critical for planning your working memory and sustaining focus on long-term standards. Long-term standards. I am on a long-term standard path because of the amount of people that are personally unaccountable in the world. And so my dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is part of that long-term planning for these high standards. Now, number 3 is a new cortex that I was just made aware of this morning, and it is the orbital frontal cortex. The orbital frontal cortex, referred to as the OFC, and it is not pronounced, spelled ORBITO, frontal, all together, cortex. And it is involved in evaluating consequences and adjusting behavior and value-based decisions. It's involved in evaluating consequences, adjusting behaviors, and value-based decision making. And that's what I had to do. After 9.5 years, I had to make a value-based decision making because I was burning a candle at both ends. I'm still posting 65 times a day on social media, helping Nola with her business, preparing for the live, studying neuroscience, reading a book a week. And it was a lot taking place, and something had to give. And so my hippocampus needs this new information. I'm holding this old information, and now I'm saying, okay, something has to change in order for me to get to this next neuropathic level. And as a result, I looked at how many posts I made. I looked at what was happening on social media. Had I met my objectives? Have I gone viral? Do I have a micro following? Yes, I do. All those things. Check. Okay, cool. That can be sustained. And now it's time for me to make different decisions. And so I was using my orbital frontal cortex and didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. Number 4 is the ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex, and it monitors performance. It detects errors and drives persistence toward high standards. So my ACC is now saying, yes, did you do your neuroscience? Did you read? Did you prepare for the live? Because this is the next standard. Now, one thing that I would like to mention as well is in the 9.5 years that I've been posting on social media, I've watched social media change. My graphic design has improved. My content writing has improved. My ability to deliver this message of real leadership and personal accountability has changed and improved. And as a result of that, the standard is higher. When I first started posting on Instagram, I was posting OPC, other people's content. There's 276 posts of other people's content on those 15,800 posts. And then after that, I said, you got to start making your own graphics. They're terrible, but they're there nonetheless. And you can see the evolutionary process of that and all that encompassed, because the standard kept being the standard. And then as I continued to be able to make more content, my standard for how many posts I make and how many posts I post was extremely high. At one time I was posting 105 to 110 times a day across all 13 of my social media accounts. So I still have that skill set. I can still tell people how I do it, but it's not something that I need to consistently do anymore. So anybody needs social media advice on how to post, what to post, I give you my 2 different systems, posting strategies and all of that. But I have grown past that process. There's nothing left for me to prove. Okay. Number 5 is the basal ganglia, and that's especially the striatum. It supports the ventral striatum, which I learned about yesterday. It supports habit formation and consistent actions aligned with standards. It supports habit formation and consistent actions aligned with set standards. So here's what's taking place. Waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I get everything ready for the live, 3:50. I start posting for my 4 a.m. club. Make my videos announcing everything by 4:30. I am now announcing the live on social media. Go downstairs, get my snack, do my nasal rinse, come upstairs, finish my nasal rinse, try to grab some of my snack, and prepare for the live. So that's what my body, my habit, my basal ganglia is used to. It's used to that. It's accustomed to it. And now it stopped. On the 25th of this month, 3 days ago, it stopped. And now it's like, what the fuck? What you doing? What do we do now? And I'm like, I don't know. I know we're not doing that. And so I'm figuring this part out. So I'm rising at 3 o'clock. I'm not jumping out of bed. I'm getting up slower, thinking about the day. I have this bandwidth, this mental faculties, and this mental capacity. So the amygdala is like panicking. Like, what? No, you got this. And I'm like, no, it's time to change all of that up. So basal ganglia and your striatum, listen, we're doing something different now. Okay, calm down. Everybody chill out. And we are changing. Just like in January, when January 19th came and I changed the format of the live, and now it's this. There is this die-off period from the routine, and then this experimental period of what is the new routine, the new habit forming. What is that going to do? And what is that standard of excellence as I continue to do this process? So then number 6 is the ventral striatum, and that's part of the reward system, the ventral striatum. And if you need the spelling for striatum again, it's STRIATUM, STRIATUM, and it's part of the reward system. So it empowers by linking the goal achievement with internal rewards of feelings. The subscriptions have started already, Sabrina. They are on Instagram and TikTok. So if you go click the subscription buttons, there's about 45 videos in there already. So Instagram or TikTok. I don't have the metrics on YouTube yet to get a subscription on YouTube. It's based upon hours watched, not subscribers. No, Sabrina, the live, my pleasure. So here, let me explain that because that could be confusing. So this live is staying. This live is not going anywhere. It is the morning mental workout for you to learn how to use your brain. I used to have live subscriptions on TikTok. Some of you, I think Kevin, you were there on the other format. Some of you were there, and then we switched over here. So then what happened was I stopped going live on Instagram and TikTok. I was going live 3 times on Monday. Instagram, obviously YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And it was exhausting. And I didn't like what was happening. So I said, okay, let me stop. Let me put this on pause because I don't want to do a live like this. How can I do it? And so then it came to me that it needs to be subscription based and it's personal. So after 15 years of not showing my personal anything, I said, well, let's see what it looks like. So now it's the personal side. So there's a video of me after having shaved my head. So y'all can see what I look like without my wig on and other stuff too. So it's my day to day. It's me sitting in the car having a thought. It's me leaving the house and saying all of these day to day things because what you get here is brain, Dr. Donna. And then on social media, you get all of the information for the playlist. So where is this personal not information, it's not like I'm gonna be crying, y'all don't see me cry on live, but what does it look like day in and day out? Not for you to be me, but for you to understand how calm my life actually is, because that's what needs to take place. Is your day to day is really calm, is really simple, and that's why your life and your work can be so high powered. That's how come I'm able to do the things that I do on the live and everything else, and do neuroscience and study it, because I have this very simple day-to-day life. So it's my morning routine. Time do I get up, and what do I do? What vitamins do I take, and all these other things. And as I mentioned before, it's interesting. It's not sexy, but it is interesting. So this live will stay. The subscriptions are for people who can't, number one, attend the lives. Number two, want some more interaction. So when there is enough subscribers on those platforms, we will have subscribers only lives. We will be able to engage from a personal perspective on those 2 platforms. So it's separate from this. It's a different interaction. And that's what I'm like. I'm not going to repeat myself on platforms because that doesn't make any sense. But in this instance, the personal on TikTok, because some people like TikTok, some people like Instagram, those 2 people usually aren't the same person. So on there, so my decision was I have been posting publicly for 9.5 years on Instagram, probably 5 years on TikTok. And so I'm not posting publicly on those platforms anymore. So you're either going to have to join a broadcast channel or you're going to have to subscribe to get new content. Now, will new content be made available on YouTube? Yes. But the content that's on those 2 platforms won't be on YouTube. Some of it, because I do the Real Leader Brain. So the daily posting that I used to do on TikTok, Instagram, and everywhere else is now private. If you want access to it, you need to subscribe to my new content. YouTube is still YouTube. Those platforms are subscription based for us to create communities of being personally accountable. And you have to get to a certain number of subscribers for lives and other interactive things for that to happen. So that's what I'm saying. And so I spent the last 2 months, April and May, putting content in there so that when you join, there's already content available for you on those platforms. And so it's different than this. It's the personal side of this. So this is lecture, and then that's day to day. So let me know if you understand what I'm saying now. So this live isn't going anywhere. It's in addition to. So I stopped posting publicly and I took that energy and made it private so that it's more actual it's because everybody could see it. So people was just liking it. And I call them looker and likers because they was just looking and liking, but they weren't engaging. And so they weren't changing and they weren't becoming personally accountable. So what's the point? If you want to look and like, it's 15,800 posts and thousands of posts on TikTok. If you're just going to look and like, you can go look and like at the old stuff, but you don't get access to the new information because you're just looking and liking. So you can look and like what's already there, but nothing new. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying now. I can't have subscriptions on YouTube yet because my channel hasn't met the metrics. So the metrics on YouTube for you to have a subscription, it's not, it used to be based on subscribers. You need 3,000 watch hours and 1 million shorts and 1,000 followers to have a subscription channel on YouTube. Yes. So 3,000 watch hours. That's in a year. And you need 1 million short views within 90 days in order for you to start a subscription on YouTube. 3,000, not 300,000, 3,000 watched hours, not minutes, but hours. So that's a long time for people to be watching your channel. Okay. And I understand that as well. And so I'm basically saying that that's a different interaction. And I'm saying for the people who are on those platforms, because it's 12,000 on TikTok and 14,000 on Instagram, that access will not be made available anymore to that group. And that this is about becoming personally accountable. So how, because I didn't want to gatekeep information. I went through all of that. Am I gatekeeping? No, it's 11,500 videos. It's 15,000. You can go back and look at all that. And it is a different interaction and audience, and I don't want them there. So that's what the subscription is for. The subscription is for every platform that I'm on to feel like the lives. Yes. Well, I don't know about exciting for me, but yeah. I'm doing what I'm being told. I'm not excited about doing it. It's just part of what needs to take place. So it is to get rid of the unaccountables. It is to eliminate them being able to, just say whatever they want. I'm approaching 3,200 people being blocked on Instagram. So it's part of the process, but it's not something that I woke up willingly wanting to do. But it is part of the process of holding people personally accountable. If you want to engage with me, then you will be engaged. So I would check it out if I were you at this point, because it is a different side. It's a different point of view, and there's food for thought over there as well. And it will grow. So it's the beginning. It's actually, and it's quite disruptive because people that have subscriptions on Instagram are basically posting the same information. They selling stuff and all this other stuff to it. So I'm actually creating a disruption on both of those platforms as well by not posting publicly and saying, if you want access to this, is this, but without the merchandise, because you can add merchandise and all these other things to it. And so it's, can this community be built based upon this concept where there is a safe space for people to learn, grow, and develop independent of the nonsense on other social media platforms. Yeah, my amygdala was acting like a fucking fool this morning. A toddler in Target in the toy section, not being able to get their toy. She was angry. Yes. She popped all the way to hell off. So here we are. Okay. So number 6 is the ventral striatum, and it's the reward system. So it empowers you by linking goal achievement with the internal rewards feeling. So I'm not feeling rewarded right now this morning. This don't feel like a reward. Maybe later, but this ain't that. It's one thing because everything works. You put it on paper. It's like, yep, I'm about to do that. I'm about to do that. And then you do it. And then the brain is like, hold up, wait a what? You about to do what? And then this die off, this 9.5-year die off is that I was not expecting is taking place now. It's like, oh, you post. No, it's not time. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's time to post. It's time. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. And it's like, oh, you just, and then I went from, watch this. So no post on any platform that has a subscription. That's number 1. And then, all of the rest of the platforms, so Lemonade, LinkedIn, Threads, X, all of that, I got 1 to 2 text posts that I can put. So I didn't stop on all of them, all of the platforms. So it's just a little question, a little comment, a little error. So the whole thing has been dismantled as of June 25th, all at once. So yeah, my whole brain is like, what did you? So my whole day has changed. My entire day and everything that I'm doing has changed immensely. So just imagine if you take a heroin addict's heroin without that other candy thing, whatever they put heroin addicts on before they wean them all the way off. You say, nope, cold turkey, you ain't getting shit. Think of Ray Charles in the movie when he just in that room doing like this in his movie, and they had to get him and strap him down and all of that. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Sabrina said, also thank you. I have now joined Toastmasters and am revamping my schedule so I could be in the challenge again. My pleasure. You're welcome. So yeah, I'm experiencing major withdrawals right now. 9.5 years at every day. That's a long time. So bear with me this morning. And the next couple of days. I don't even know how long this die-off is going to last. So number 7 is the amygdala. And so the amygdala adds emotional salience, and it can fuel passion or anxiety linked to maintaining high standards. And so emotional salience refers to the impatience or prominence of an emotional experience influencing memory encoding, storage, and retrieval. So what's happening is, because I'm learning neuroscience as part of my research, the amygdala is like, oh, so, but I thought you was posting 65 times a day. I thought you, because you already reduced it once. Now people ain't going to think you a bad mofo because you ain't posting no more. So what's that going to do to you? And then the other part is saying, but now I've discovered all the regions of the brain that will allow people to hold themselves personally accountable. So it isn't me stopping because I'm quitting. It's me growing continually. So I'm having to talk to myself about the 74 principles of, because the amygdala is like, yeah, but how you gonna go viral again? You know what I'm saying? I thought you was gonna get a post to 2 million. Your biggest post is only 1.2 million. That was last June. So it's just and the prefrontal cortex is saying, if you did it once, you can do it again. How many more times do I have to do it? I already know how to do it. I can tell people how to do it. Why do I have to keep doing it? Comfort. So the amygdala was in a comfort cocoon, and it is pissed. And so it is trying to do everything. This ain't gonna work. You ain't got but 1 subscriber. And you ain't, see, this is why you should just keep doing what you was doing. And so yeah. So it's a nice little back and forth. What's the standard gonna be now? How you gonna measure that? So it's interesting. Little right here. Little, and I have one. So think of this. Look how little this almond is. Look at that. It's an almond. And the amygdala is almond shaped. Brain ain't but 3 pounds. This motherfucker right here causing all kind of problems. I'm not saying that LinkedIn over Lola. What I am saying is that that information on LinkedIn, any information that was posted daily is now going to subscriptions. I will still be posting on LinkedIn, but it will not be the information that I was posting. And so I'm going to grow into that. Yes, it is. My amygdala is not having a good time right now. So it's changing. What is happening is I am in a figuring it out phase for going forward. But what I was doing before is not going to be there. But Lola, if you go on YouTube, all of this information there. So there is still content, old content available, but any new content that I make is coming to Instagram and TikTok and parts of YouTube. It's not going to be the same on those platforms anymore. So that's what's taking place. I'm figuring that part out. But in order to do that, there has to be a lull and a die off so that there is a complete, distinct cutoff, June 25th, 2025. And now there is this next evolution of what will be, because I have been doing that for 9.5 years. And so there has to be something different because I have new information. So that information was prior to me having neuromobility, neuroscience, and all that. So I'm gaining new working memory information. So in order for me to give that information to you, I have to change what information I was presenting. Is everybody clear now? Things are changing because I'm changing. And I've been doing those things for 9.5 years. So we all good now? So we're changing. So now y'all amygdala's like, you changing. Yeah, but you can scroll down. There's plenty of stuff already there. It's already there. We already got food at home. As I decide what our next menu items are going to be. Okay, so is everybody clear now? I am in a trend. You probably have never seen somebody do this before on social media. So you are a part of evolution of it changing in real time. And so what is currently available is live on YouTube every day. There is thousands of posts on Instagram, Threads, TikTok that's already there. So you can scroll down. Subscriptions on Instagram and TikTok. And then all the other platforms are getting text messages currently until I can determine what is the new way to present information on those platforms. So I'm not going anywhere on those platforms. What is being presented on those platforms is changing because people need to start becoming engaged in personal accountability. No more looking and liking. That phase is over. You have to start doing now. Does that make sense? Yes, change with me. Change with me. Everybody's amygdala is getting ready to get hijacked. Y'all welcome. Being transparent helps me understand your process for growth and change. This is helpful to me. Well, my pleasure. Y'all know I don't even know how to not be transparent. So here we are. Yep. So what happens is, I think what takes place is, because I don't follow anybody, what I remember is that people be like, coming soon, launching this new thing. And it'll either be a t-shirt or, a makeup line or something, but you don't really get to see people, as Regina is saying, grow and change right before your eyes. They leave and they come back and they say, ta-da, I changed. And now you're saying why? And they might tell you why, they might not tell you why, but I can't keep learning all this neuroscience information, learning about the brain every day. And think about it. 9 years ago, I was 43 years old. I'm now in my 50s. And so I made that decision a decade ago. That's a long time ago. So I can't keep operating in the decade that I was in my 40s. I'm in my 50s. And now I know, I think about it. I've been reading books for 10 years in my 11th year. And now I'm studying the brain. And now I have thousands, I had hundreds of pieces of content in 8 playlists. And now I have thousands of pieces of content. My Jiffy channel is at 17.5 billion. I have 133 playlists and 11,500 YouTube videos. I can't keep doing that because that decision is how we got here. So in order for me to get to my next level, I got to make decisions today for 2 levels up. So I have to be at 6.8 billion people holding themselves personally accountable. I got to start preparing for that today, now, so that when that happens, I'm already ready and saying, yeah, I'm ready for the 6.8 billion people. So this is what happens. And so I'm making this decision, just like it didn't make sense 9 years ago to publish my own content. And people were like, but no, you just put other people's content up. I was like, no, I'm not doing OPC no more. That's other people's content. I'll make my own content. Everybody's doing it now, but nobody was doing it back then because it didn't even have the apps, the graphic apps, video apps. Everything that you see today wasn't there 9 years ago. And so I'm using Snapchat clock and Instagram and app smashing way back then. And that's how we get here today. So this is the next evolutionary process. And now y'all can understand why I don't follow anybody. I'm not a hero worshiper and idolizer, because I'm saying people get to where I'm at and they say it's good. Why would you a micro influencer, you getting paid off of social media platforms and everything else. Why would you change this? It's working because I'm growing. So it worked. I know how to do it. I can tell you how to do it, but what's next for me? And so the die-off is what's happening, and you have to make those decisions at the height, at the peak. You don't make the decision at the bottom because now you're emotional. You make it when things are going well. So now you can have this die-off and go up to your next level, grow up to your next level. So that's what's actually taking place, okay? So the hippocampus is involved as well in the brain regions, and what the hippocampus does is well, I want more for y'all too. So the other thing, and I know we're gonna be 7 o'clock today, but this is necessary. So I read the book Bill Gates wrote, The Road Ahead. He wrote it in 1995, and one of the things that he said in the book was this. He said, if you are ahead of somebody and they pass you, you slow down or you stopped. And so you all, because I figured all of this out, you're going to get to the point where I got to, because it took me longer. The 9 years that it took me to get here, y'all can get there in a year because I already know how to do that. So in order for me to stay ahead of you all, like I tell Noel all the time, I'm 29 and a half years older than you. So I need to maintain 29 and a half years more information than you because I'm 29 and a half years older than you. So because I've streamlined this process, you all are going to get to your points much faster than me. I have to get galaxpheric, teleporting ahead of you, or you're going to pass me. And not from a competition perspective, but more so from a, what else you got, Doc? What else you got? What else you got? So I got to work on my what else I got. That's what I'm doing. So I want more for y'all. And I'm not doing this for me because I can stop right now. I mean, hell, I told y'all I'm a bad mofo, but how can I offer you more if I don't become more for you? The people who are choosing to use their brain and become personally accountable. Lola said, I used to tell people to meet me where I'm at. I can't take you back to the basics. We have to move forward. Yes, exactly. That's a perfect example, Lola. And so I'm saying I'm here, and there are plenty of videos, people in business and everything. If you need that information, I have it for you because that's why it's on the YouTube channel, and that's why it's other places. Here's an article, here's a video, here's a book to read. So I built up all those resources for you. But now we need neuroscience resources. We need neuropability resources. And so I have to go and build that. So that's what's taking place. Okay, so how these regions work together. So these regions work together because the PFC, it sets the standards through conscious goal setting. Number 2, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the ACC. What they do is they monitor progress, adjust behaviors, and maintain consistency. Number 3, my homie, the basal ganglia, it converts repeated high standards behaviors into automatic habits. So me waking up every morning at 3 o'clock is an automatic habit. Me posting 65 to 105, 110 times a day on social media, I'd be at a point, but hold up, I got to post. Boom, 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 bam, post made. That's why I love the basal ganglia, because you put it in there, standard of excellence, and it is on autopilot. Number 4 is the ventral striatum, and that fuels the empowerment by providing dopamine-based internal rewards. Me making a post. Sometimes I'll be like, let me see if I can make this post do this. Boom, 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 make the post do it, bam, I post it. I don't really care if people liked it, looked at it, or nothing, because I got my dopamine boost from the ventral striatum from making it to see if I could actually do it. 5 apps to make this post, make sure that music is jump cutting and all of that. I already got my reward. And you don't have to like it today. You can see it 10 years from now because it's there. So that's the other part. Is there are videos from 5 years ago. We've watched it on Wire Wednesday. This video is 7 years old. This video is 10 years old. I started this video 11 years ago when I started my channel. So it's the ability to make it and know that it's there, and we can come back to it at any time. And then when I made it, that was my best effort. That's why my information is still valuable, because I chose not to do trendy stuff. I was like, nope, trends in. This is going to be that 8-ball jacket from 1987. Nope. I'm going to keep it on behavior, leadership, and the things, human behavior, things that you use day to day. And so the graphics may be a little bit outdated because things have changed, but the information is still the same. So the message is the message. And then number 5 is the amygdala and the hippocampus. So you attach emotional significance and memory to successes or failures, reinforcing future standards. And so for me, I've already done this. I did this 9.5 years ago. And so I understand. I started saying, I'm going to curse online. I'm not going to have on a bunch of makeup and all this stuff that I can't maintain. I'm going to have on a t-shirt. I'm going to be filming in normal places. I'm not going to be like, oh, and I live in this great, and look at me and look at this golf course. I'm not, nope, because I have to maintain this and be able to do all this stuff from my phone. So for me now, as my amygdala is acting like a fucking fool right now, I'm saying 9.5 years ago, we already been through this before. Shut up, be quiet, sit down. We already did this. Why are you acting like this? We knew this day was coming. I've been preparing you for 2 months that this was coming on June 25th. Why are you acting like this now? Because reality is here, and it's time to actually pay the piper, to actually do what you said you were going to do, which is to keep your word. So in summary, the 8 regions of the brain that you use in order to set and maintain high standards. Number 1 is the prefrontal cortex. Number 2 is the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Number 3 is the orbital frontal cortex. Number 4 is the ACC. Number 5 is the basal ganglia. Number 6 is the ventral striatum. Number 7 is the amygdala. And number 8 is the hippocampus. And these regions work together. So you have the prefrontal cortex and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the ACC working together. The basal ganglia does its part to repeat the high standards. The ventral striatum, that's telling you, hey, here goes some dopamine. And then the amygdala and the hippocampus work together to say we have had high standards before, so that means that we could do this again. So in summary, setting and maintaining high standards is not just about a willpower exercise. Now, I can do this. I'm going to push myself through. It's not going to work. It's coordinated with all of the brain functions, blending executive control, empowerment, feelings, and memories. Because right now, my amygdala is attacking every region of the brain for this. And so you have to have the prefrontal cortex regulating the amygdala, or you will stop. If you ever said, I'm going to do something, and then it got time to do it, and then you get this amygdala heightened feeling, and you submit, you acquiesce to the amygdala, that's how you end up not doing it. I mean, 9.5 years is a long time to be doing something. I'm still waking up early, but the whole routine has changed. And the basal ganglia is like, what? No, it's time to do that. No, it's not. So all of the regions of the brain that were accustomed to doing what I was doing before are now going, what are we doing? And the amygdala's like, fucking up. That's what y'all doing. This is about to be a shit show. This is going to be fucked up. Instigating and doing all kind of stuff. So it takes hunormic mental strength to override that in order to set and maintain high standards to get to the next level. So strengthening these regions through internal practices, goal setting, reflection, feedback, and habit formation makes high standards sustainable. And so this is how we get it done, through these brain-based activities. So there are 7 brain-based activities to strengthen your ability to set and maintain high standards grounded in neuroscience. So number 1, goal visualization. So you got to practice this, and you're going to be using the prefrontal cortex and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. Spend 5 minutes daily vividly visualizing yourself meeting your high standards. Vividly visualizing it. And then picture the specific behaviors, outcomes, and feelings tied to achieving those standards. And what this is going to do is build the mental pathways for consistent high performance. So I right now have to tell myself, and that's why I say it on the lives, I'm the baddest motherfucker walking the face of the planet Earth, because there are 6.8 billion unaccountable adults. And I can't say, I think I can do this. I really think this is a great idea. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to try. It's not going to work. That shit ain't going to work at all, because this unaccountability is amygdala hijacked. People are that very much listening to their amygdala on a daily basis. So I can't say, I'm just going to talk real nice to the amygdala. I'm going to say, hey there, Mrs. Amygdala, Mr. Amygdala, what are your pronouns? No, that's not going to work because it's hardwired to negativity bias. I'm experiencing it myself and I got to do this. So if I got to do it in my amygdala, it's like, hell no. Definitely people whose idea this isn't, it's gonna take somebody saying, I'm the baddest motherfucker walking the face of planet Earth. I got this. Ain't nobody badder than me. Can't nobody do this but me. This is what I was born to do. Change humanity. And so I have to tell myself that all day long as my hijacked amygdala and all my brain regions are like, what are you doing? Again. Here you go again, changing something. Yeah. Y'all will follow along. Let's go. Just enough of my prefrontal cortex that's holding on. My personality, everything's in there. Working memories like, shut up. Here's what you're getting ready to do today. I didn't say this need to be done by tomorrow, but in my lifetime, this is something that we're working on. So you have to visualize it and maintain that mental consistency when it doesn't look like anything. If faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. There are 8 people on this live, and there are 6.8 billion people, adults in the world, not being personally accountable. If I pay attention to that number on the live, I quit. The amygdala says this ain't working, stop. But I can't do that because I'm visualizing 6.8 billion adults. Okay, number 2, self-monitoring writing. Self-monitoring writing, it strengthens the ACC. So what you're going to do is reflect daily on your actions. Did I meet my standards for today? Did I go live? Did I study neuroscience? Did I improve the world by putting personally accountable information, neuropability out there in the world for people to start to have flashes, nice little flashes and flickers, synapses with a nice little spike, just for them to just say, you know what, let me think about what she said. Let me think about that for a second, because I wasn't thinking about that. But I'm at least at a minimum start thinking about it. So then you identify moments of success and areas for improvement, and you adjust standards if needed. And so after I get off the live, I assess what took place, and then I start thinking about it. I'm looking at what's for tomorrow. What kind of information do I need? I talk about it throughout the day. How does this apply? I start looking at people in those behaviors, identifying all of that. Just like yesterday, we realized that every freaking graphic has the amygdala on it. So last year I was like, what is it? Why can't people do it? Why can't people do it? Been studying the brain. And now I know that the amygdala is the reason why personal accountability is harder for people, because it is saying comfort. Why are you doing that? We need to be comfortable. Why are you doing that? Why are you changing? Why are you growing? Why are you reading? Why are you saying no? Why are you doing all that? We just want to be comfortable. We just want to be safe and comfortable. And everything you're talking about sounds unsafe. It sounds like discomfort. So stop. Just come over here. Sit down. Let's just watch something. Call a friend. Go out. Hang out at the club. So the amygdala is the problem. The amygdala is the root cause of why people can't hold themselves personally accountable. And so I know that. And so I spend days saying, how do we reroute this so people can start using their prefrontal cortex? And so when you are thinking about your day, that's what I'm thinking about on a day-to-day basis. And so doing this self-monitoring writing for me is thinking enhances self-regulation and accountability. That self-regulation is telling the amygdala, you are not in charge. The prefrontal cortex is. So every day you're saying, this is the standard. All content on those platforms is subscription-based now. We're done with the looking and liking. And that's why I tag everything and I call things OPC, looking and liking, so I can quiet the amygdala down. I'm not using OPC anymore. That's other people's content. I don't do that. Looker and likers, we're finished with that. We need people holding themselves personally accountable because the objective is 6.8 billion adults. So there has to be a cutoff in order for me to start saying, in order for you to see this now and access it, you have to decide that you're going to be personally accountable. That's what that's about. Okay, number 3 is habit looping rewiring. Habit looping rewiring, and it's a cue action reward. And this strengthens the basal ganglia. So it's designed for consistent routines with clear cues and rewards aligned with high standards. So for example, your morning alarm, you review your goals. So it's like, okay, cool. This is how I set and maintain standards. And so the habit looping, the basal ganglia, before I used to get up, all right, cool. I got to go take care of my personal hygiene really quick. And then now I'm ready to start studying the brain. Before that, it was when I used to get up at 3:50, it's time for me to download, start posting on my social media platforms, and then move about with the rest of my day. At one point I did that, and then I would read and take care of things. But since today is 602 days of going live, it's been that for the last 602 days. And so what it does is it converts high standard behaviors into automatic behaviors. So me posting over 100 times a day was in my basal ganglia. It wasn't nothing for me to do that. It was like breathing. Would you say? Huh? Stories, feed. I got this. Yeah, no problem. I'd get home after a long day with no one because it was part of my basal ganglia. Boom, 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 boom. It's still getting done. So that's how you end up being able to do amazing things, is because the basal ganglia just makes it part of your everyday habits. But the standard has to be high when you set it. Number 4 is dopamine boosting celebrations. Dopamine boosting celebrations, and it strengthens your ventral striatum. And so what again you want to do is celebrate the small wins that reflect your standards. So you're saying, I posted 105 times today. Kudos to you. Good job. I was on my live today. Good job. It took me 3 times to pass my module 4 test on neuroscience. Good job, Dr. Donna. Good job. And so what happens is when you use praise and positive confirmations, or you take short breaks and rewards, it actually trains the brain to associate high standards with positive feelings. Yes, intestinal fortitude. Yes. So that's what it does. When you keep having setting and maintaining high standards, the brain says, okay, great, that's excellent. Good job. And so now my feelings are for high standards. I don't do regular. I don't do average. I don't do mundane. You want to be regular and average? Take that shit back to Loserville. I don't want no parts of that. I don't even fucking with you. Yeah, because I just want, okay, as soon as people say, I just want to, I'm out. Because I just want to is the lead in to be mediocre, average, mundane, and regular. That's what you on your way to do. And I'm on my way to exit state. Where is the door? Because I'm getting out of here. Physically or virtually, I'm out. You are not lowering my standards. And I have a Dr. Donna quote that says, low standards is too close to no standards. I'm out. Okay. Number 5 is emotional anchoring, reflection. And so this emotional anchoring reflection is obviously the amygdala and having reflections. And so what you want to do is connect emotionality to why your standards matter. Why your standards matter. My standards matter to me because set and maintain high standards is one of the principles of real leadership. We live in a world where high standards are minuscule. They're almost invisible. They're almost invisible at this point. There was a time when standards were higher. They were higher, and now they have been watered down. They're watered down in school systems, in homes, and everywhere else. There isn't this standard of excellence. It's now, okay, that's good enough. And good enough never is. And I think that came from the book Good to Great. So you want to say why this matters. And why this matters for me is not monetarily. I am tired of being on the receiving end of unaccountable people's antics throughout my day. And it is neurological. So now we can actually change it. We can stop letting the amygdala run our brains and start using the prefrontal cortex. And we can all experience better dailies. We can all have better. We can go get lunch, and what we ordered is what we have. The chef prepared it. The cook prepared it correctly. The server brought it to you. If you're at the cashier, gave it to you, and you get home, it's hot. It's what you asked for. The farmers made it correctly. Everything in that supply chain works. You can be on the road driving without having to white knuckle drive every time you go somewhere because of all this craziness that's going on. So it's my daily. I'm doing this so our daily can be best. Everything we do, we can have a conversation. We don't have to need ring alarms on our houses anymore because motherfuckers ain't breaking in, stealing shit because they too busy working on themselves and getting something done that's more productive than taking your shit that you worked hard for. So yes, it's a bigger why than me simply saying, and yep, I got 1 million followers. And what? Yep, no, it's galaxpheric, changing the world, one adult at a time. And so what happens is you reflect on past success and you have pride, confidence, and fulfillment that it brought. So the reason why 6.8 billion is not a big number to me is because my Jiffy page has 17.5 billion views. That means more than the 6.8 billion people have watched and used those jiffies. So I already have a number that's bigger, almost triple that I'm associated with. So it's a third of my Jiffy page. That's how I see that number. That's how that. So yeah, 6.8 billion. That's why I'm going. Whoo, y'all, 6.8 billion. I can't even say that. B with a billion. I already got access to 17.5 billion. So and it's 86 billion neurons in your brain. 6 billion ain't shit to 86 billion. So what it does is it reinforces emotional empowerment to sustain high standards. I have high standards. That's why if you start a challenge and you miss, you start over. Why, Dr. Donna? Because that's what happened to me at Air Assault School, and that's why my hand is injured. You flunk a phase of school in the military, you got to start that phase over. You got to start it over because they want to make sure you got it right. You need to sling load. You need to be able to rappel. You need to be able to tie a knot and all of that. And if you didn't pass, you got to go back and redo it because you missed something. So they, oh, it's okay. He just said, no. I was a captain. And they were like, okay, captain, you going to restart tomorrow. They didn't give a fuck about my rank because I was in Air Assault School. So they did not care about it. I know somebody that was in Kim School, in career captain's course. He got all the way to the last 2 weeks of career captain's course, which is anywhere to 4 to 5 months, and failed 2 tests, and he had to start over. He had to start over, and they was waiting on him to command at his next duty assignment, and he was 5 months behind. I had to go get a different command at 2 weeks before graduation because of the set and maintain high standards. Okay, we have had people who did not make it through basic training, who had to reclass because they couldn't shoot a shotgun, and they had to become a cook. So it is set and maintain high standards because excellence is the only measurement that matters. Number 6. It does. Starting over does something to you because you see it differently. You got a different reason for being there. All right. Cognitive flexibility is number 6. It's cognitive flexibility drills. And so it strengthens your OFC, which is your orbital frontal cortex, and your DLPFC, which is your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So practice adjusting the standards in response to new information or challenges. So I am adjusting the standard because now I know it's neurological. Before I didn't know that. And so I am adjusting the standards because I got all this new brain information. So we can't do what we was doing before. And so an example is you can reframe setbacks as learning moments rather than abandoning your standards. So I am not abandoning my standards of teaching people how to become your best. What I am saying is, yes, those resources work, but you need new information if 6.8 billion people are going to learn how to become personally accountable. And so what it does is it supports adaptive high performance mindset. Lola said, I had to drop everything that I was doing to learn in a different way. Exactly. And that's okay because that's not quitting. Yes, that's not quitting. Quitting is not an option. So quitting is not an option for me. I am reevaluating because the main thing is still the main thing. Adults need to learn how to become personally accountable. So who do I have to become? And what do I need to learn as the educator and the creator of neuromobility and the theory of personal accountability? Who do I need to be able to become to show you how it can be done? Because lead by example is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So I have to change. I got to be the change so you can go. I can tell you, because if y'all had to watch this neuroscience stuff, and I said this yesterday, and listen to it, first of all, you can't interpret it. So I have to listen to it, interpret it, and then present it in a way to you so you can do it. Not so you can regurgitate it back to me for a test, but for you to apply it. That's theory being brought to you in practical application, and that's something that's difficult to do. So I can't be in another book challenge. I got to start studying the brain every day. So 11 is the last book challenge because my reading time has to now go to this new information that I need in order for us to all get to this next level. I thought I was a real leader. Are you saying you thought you were, or now you know that you are, Lola? So number 7 is feedback integration practice. Feedback integration practice, and it strengthens your PFC and your ACC. So regularly seek performance-focused feedback from mentors, peers, or self-assessment. And that's what I do. You all are helping me with my research. There are some of you now in doing research behind the scenes because I got some information. So I got some information. Let me see if this is true. I got some information. Let me see if this is true. I learned this in the live. We're going to see if this works. Because the objective is for everybody to be able to, oh, you know you am. Well, go ahead, Lola. All right now. Okay. You like, shoot, I'm a bad mofo. What's up? Yes. So it's there. I'm asking questions. That's why when you say, what did you learn today? I'm like, okay, cool. I got that. You learned that? Okay, cool. That's working. If you say, I ain't learned shit today, Dr. Donna, then I got to do something else. I got to do something different. So you use that feedback to refine or elevate your standards, not lower them. The science of getting rich says if it's not happening, it's not big enough. The science of getting rich says if it's not happening, it's not big enough. Not that it's too big, it's too small. And that's why it's not occurring. And so the yes and no challenge this time last year wasn't working. It was a 90% failure rate. I needed an introductory 30-day challenge. And because that challenge, people were willing, I tested it first. I turned it into a 30-day challenge, 90% failure rate. So I said, okay, I got to regroup. Now there's a 30-day PA challenge, but you can thank all those people who literally went through and failed miserably. I had one person have to go through they had to restart the yes and no challenge 4 times. It took them 120 days to say yes and no 30 consecutive days in a row. Right. Feedback integration practice. And so that is why it is necessary, because I am ABIing, always be improving. And that's what I'm doing. And you all just get to be a part of it in real time. And so this builds resilience, and it's the refinement of the standards. Number 8 is that, no, that's it. That's number 7. So again, the 7 drills are goal visualization practice. Number 2 is self-monitoring writing. Number 3 is habit loop rewiring. Number 4 is dopamine boosting celebrations. Number 5 is emotional anchoring reflection. Number 6 is cognitive flexibility drills. And number 7 is feedback integration practices. Now we're going into the 8 benefits. So the 8 benefits of setting and maintaining high standards. These standards support cognitive performance, emotional resilience, and personal growth. Number 1, enhance prefrontal cortex in functioning. So it's going to be enhanced. Anything that you can do to enhance your working memory and your prefrontal cortex, you got to do it. You got to do it because this has to be stronger than that doggone amygdala. So it strengthens the executive functions like decision-making, planning, and self-control. Because I have self-control, the amygdala is not going to be successful long-term. I will wear that little motherfucking almond out because of my self-control and my discipline, and of course, my personal accountability. So it keeps your brain organized and future focused. That's what I'm doing right now while all of my brain regions are firing off, what the fuck, yo? I am saying we are future focused. We are future focused. We are changing the world, Dr. Donna. We are changing the world one adult at a time, one personally accountable adult at a time. Number 2 is improved working memory and focus. My working memory, after being gone from my corporate job for 15 years, is working better at 52 than it ever did in my 20s and 30s. I got up. My working memory is superhuman. It is Superman strong. For real, for real. So what happens is maintaining high standards requires constant mental clarity and attention. It's sharpening the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and it is improving the working memory capacity. I know so much more information in these last 15 years than the 23 years that I went to school from K through Dr. Donna. So these last 15 years, when I was in total control of everything that I could learn, I have learned probably 4 to 5 times more than with 23 years of going to school, standard education. And so that is because of my high standards. When I graduated in August, my degree says August because of the dissertation approval process. But in 2008, when I became Dr. Donna, I did not put my thinking cap on the shelf with my degree. I didn't do that. That was like the next, I said, I got a doctorate. Now I can start making up my own words. I can start doing all these things. So that was the beginning of where we are today, 17 years later. So that's what's taking place, is that when you keep raising the standard and raising the standard and raising the standard and raising the standard, you are raising what's possible with your prefrontal cortex. You could not have told me 15 years ago that I would be doing anything remotely resembling what I was doing today. I didn't believe that was going to be happening. Not at all. And it's interesting that after I became Dr. Donna, I could not stay at Frito-Lay anymore. I couldn't do it. My brain was like, this is chips on the truck. You ain't, you gonna have to leave here. You too smart for this right here. You got to go. So number 3 is stronger neural pathways for self-regulation. So stronger neural pathways for self-regulation. So frequent monitoring of your behavior activates the ACC, making it easier to detect errors and course correct, building self-discipline. So because of these strong neural connections, the amygdala was trying to worry. The ACC is sending mixed signals and is finally saying, no, Dr. Donna, we're going to do this. This is okay. And you're doing this for the right reasons. Amygdala, shut up, sit down, be humble. We just going to wait and see. She ain't led us astray so far. So let's see where this is going to go. Number 4 is increased reward sensitivity. So increased reward sensitivity. So achieving high standards triggers dopamine release via the ventral striatum, wiring the brain to associate excellence with empowerment and pleasure. So every time I do something, every time I hit this landmark, every time I set the standard, meet the standard, exceed the standards, I have this empowerment and this pleasure. When we got to 1 billion views on my Jiffy page in the first year, you couldn't tell me. My mother used to say, you can't hit you in the ass with a red apple. And that's actually a saying in the daily. Y'all could actually look it up where that originated. You couldn't tell me shit. I'm like, hell yeah, I got a check mark. I got a low following and I'm sitting on 1 billion views and got it done in a year. And now the standard is this. The next standard is that. The next standard is this. So it's this very, 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 very high standard of excellence. And it's empowering me on the daily basis. Number 5, what did you say, Sabrina? This is in my head every time I see a Frito-Lay truck. Right, chips on the truck. That's all it is. Number 5, general emotional resilience. So the amygdala becomes more balanced. It becomes more balanced. So you better manage frustration and setbacks and stay emotionally aligned with your goals. So while my amygdala is trying to pop off, it will acquiesce and we will continue to persevere and drive on because of my prior track record with setting and maintaining high standards. Number 6 is reinforced habit formation circuits. Reinforced habit formation circuits. So the basal ganglia forms automatic high standard routines, reducing cognitive fatigue from decision making. So it's like, no, we know how to do that. We know how to do that. And I have driven because of this reinforced habit formation, the basal ganglia is a standard of excellence. I've driven my child bonkers initially, and sometimes even to this day, not as much with my standard of excellence. I'm like, rub your finger along that rail. Make sure all those screw heads are flat. Make sure you do this. Okay, did you do that? Did you do this? Okay, let's fold it up. Let's stage it here. Move it over to the left a little bit. And just a little bit of this. And she's like, whoa. And now she finds herself doing the same thing, hence the 1,100 5-star reviews. So yeah. Number 7, never ask for one review ever either. Number 7, memory observation for learning. The hippocampus strengthens memory for lessons learned, making you more adaptable and continually improving. So the hippocampus says, okay, we learned that, now do this, learn that. That's why when she first started, we used to leave every appointment and conduct an after action review. What happened, what was supposed to happen, what can we improve? And that's how you end up being able to put together a desk that didn't have pre-drill holes or instructions. Number 8, boosted cognitive flexibility. So high standards encourage the brain to stay adaptable and innovative under pressure, improving your orbitofrontal cortex flexibility. So in summary, the overall brain performance upgrade. So consistently setting and maintaining high standards doesn't improve external outcomes. It rewires your brain to operate at higher levels, making excellence, discipline, and adaptability your mental default. That's me. So it's not about external stuff. It's about what's happening up here. And you are going to operate at a higher level, making excellence, discipline, and adaptability your mental default. So I have no neuroscience background, none. I just started talking about the brain in October. But because of my high standards of excellence, I'm like, well, fuck it. I got to learn about the brain. All right, bet. It's going to be hard, but I will learn these terms. My orthographic processing center will eventually start pronouncing these words correctly. But if it takes me triple the amount of time to learn these lessons, that's why I self-pace. This is just going to take me triple amount of time to understand who Geo and Cahal are and how they started brain staining and then understanding synapses so we could get to the point where we are today. Goji is who it is. They started way back in the 1900s getting this done. So here we are. So in summary, the 8 benefits are, again, Number 1, enhance PFC function. Number 2, improve working memory and focus. Number 3, stronger neural pathways for self-regulation. Number 4, increase reward sensitivity. Number 5, general emotional resilience. Number 6, reinforced habit formation circuits. Number 7, memory observations for learning. And number 8, boosted cognitive flexibility. And I know we're over. I'm trying to stay as close to time, but I needed to needed you to understand what was taking place. So what questions do you have for me? Feel free to watch the replay. I think you can slow it down because I'm really talking fast this morning. So is it clear as a bell? Clear as mud? Do you need me to repeat anything? This part completely cold. So we'll do our working memory and answer our 2 questions for the day and get out of here. Clear as a bell, clear as mud. And that's the drawing for today. And those cortexes are located in the cortexes. That's why the drawing doesn't pick them up. Good morning, Mr. Hook. Good morning, heartache. Yeah, so my amygdala, just in case y'all didn't know, is firing off even during this live. Cutting the fool. Didn't want me to talk about it. It was like, hurry up and get back to the lesson. Hurry up and get back to the lesson. Just get back to the lesson. Quit talking about it. Quit. Why are you trying to explain it so much to them? Don't answer no questions. Just acting a total and complete fool. It's like if you ever had a drunk family member and they just won't shut up at the event. You're like, just be quiet. Just sit down. Just fall asleep. Have one more drink and fall asleep. Please be quiet. That's what's happened. It is like, in your experience now, could you tell us in real time? And I understand it will be different for others. And good morning, Jessica. Yeah, so she popping off. I got to give her a name. Regina named her amygdala. Clear. In your experience now, could you tell us in real time? I understand it will be different for others. Do you have another part, Regina, Sabrina, because it cut off? It is Dee Dee from the D. Yeah, we're going to call her Dee Dee from the D. She is the amygdala because we have to control her ass. So, yeah. Is it Dee Dee from the D? I think it might be. Well, let me sleep on that and think about it. I think she might be, I don't know. Because Dee Dee from the D is the protector. She got to come in and do some things. She's the amygdala is a little bit more emotional than her. Maybe she's just Dee Dee because Dee Dee was a crier. And yeah, I think she's just thumb sucking Dee Dee who would just run, was scared of the dark and all kind of stuff. Probably that. In your personal experience now for your ongoing change. You're saying time-wise? Yes, I understand. Right. So basically what's happening is, and some of these things are hard for you all to understand because I'm showing you the neural pathways that it's taking to wire your brain to personal accountability. So as we read and heard in the summary, my brain is already wired for the 74 principles of real leadership. And it's so much so that it's on my basal ganglia is just like everything is on habit. And so what's happening is now, because I've been doing this my whole life, I'm watching it in real time. So right now, Kevin is in 4 sets of challenges for 4 different neural pathways for principles of real leadership, because research said that you can actually become personally accountable in something in 8 to 10 days. So he's doing 8 to 10 days to see if that is actually true. Can you create that synaptic connection and start that neural pathway? And so what I believe is going to take place is that as slow as it was for me to get it done, you all will be going faster with it. And the reason why is because I already know how to do it. So once Henry Ford made, and because I'm from Detroit, I'm going to use the assembly line. Once Henry Ford made the assembly line, he made making cars faster for everybody in America. So much so that the Dodge brothers used to work for him, and they went off and created Dodge. And that's how you have Dodge, the company that it is today. And so once it's here, it's going to go faster for everybody. But the thing that will slow people down is how strong Amy amygdala lady is. So your resistance to the 74 principles of real leadership. So you may be good at all of the principles of real leadership and realistic. And then you get to the leader-led ones, and it's 16 of them, and not 12 because it's 16 and authentic. And now you're having a very difficult time. So what this process is going to do is show you where your comfort is, because the comfort is what's stopping you. That's what's actually stopping you. That amygdala comfort cocoon is what will make you hurry up and do it or not do it. And so that's what I'm finding is that when people reach their comfort cocoon for listen, embrace change, handle conflict when it occurs, now and the amygdala has taken over and said, oh no, because we don't, and then and that, and no, and then and that, and now the amygdala is running the show. And now, as I said this morning, the ACC and the prefrontal cortex are now trying to handle this perceived problem that the amygdala then came and did the dumping run on. And now they're like, oh man, we got, dang, I didn't even know about that. What did you know about? How did I get in here? And now you're over here strategizing a worry instead of creating a neural pathway for handle conflict when it occurs. Okay, Regina. So yeah, and let me know if I'm answering your question, Sabrina. So everybody is going to be different because the 74 principles of real leadership, which are the foundation, it depends on where your comfort is. So what God has given me the ability, and I'm not saying you need to believe in God, you get to believe in whatever you want to believe in. My higher power is God. Amy is her name. Yes, Regina's amygdala's name is Amy. And I didn't want to share that if you didn't want to do it. So thank you for that, Sabrina. So basically what I'm saying is this. The 74 principles of real leadership are the mud seal, the foundation for adult life. Doesn't matter sexual orientation, ethnicity, gender, background, pronoun, none of that, because it's behaviors. And these behaviors are what allow your brain to function properly. And they're the opposite of unaccountability, because unaccountability is based and hardwired for negativity bias. And real leadership is based upon the theory of personal accountability, which is PA plus 45 degrees equals best. So holding yourself personally accountable means you want to be your best. So you're going to do whatever you got to do to be your best. You're going to offer your best every single day. No matter what it is, you're going to be at your best. And unaccountable people, because they're wired for the amygdala negativity bias, they're always looking for the worst. And that's why the amygdala wakes up every day giving you some new shit to worry about. But the amygdala is only supposed to notify you of an actual threat or what appears to be a threat. And then say, hey, don't do that. Look, problem over here. Prefrontal cortex, ACC, y'all see this? Is this an actual problem? And that's it. And then say, hey, this is a risk, but this is an exciting risk. So go ahead and do that. That's how the brain was designed to actually function. But because of negativity bias, it doesn't function properly. So everybody has a mental illness, okay? Your brain don't function like it's supposed to. It ain't just ADD and ADHD. Everybody got negativity bias. And now when you use the 74 principles of real leadership, you're going to find out exactly where your amygdala is stopping you from becoming your best, holding you back at that 70% performance instead of 100% performance. You're going to find out where that is. And that's what happens when people enter into challenges because of how the challenges are set up. You're going to run into a wall, a comfort zone wall that you need to knock down. But the amygdala is going to say, no, decorate it. Just put some curtains up. You ain't got to do that. Why you doing that? That ain't she asking you to do. Why you got to do all that? That ain't what that got to do with this. That don't even match. But it does because it's stopping you from becoming your best. So in summary, I'm experiencing very much. Yeah, Kevin is doing the thing. He is fully engaged 100%. He is doing a phenomenal job because I made it up. And Regina participated too in a challenge as well, because now there's going to be the Real Leader Brain 30-day challenge as a result of Regina doing a 10-day challenge. I just got to get the time. That's why other reason why I can't post so much on social media, so that I can make it a challenge. And so Kevin has entered into this before he goes on his amazing vacation, and he is doing the doggone thing 100%. And it was a big task for me to ask of him, because it was 4 different ones, and he said yes. And so we are in our second one of that, and he picked it. So he picked the 4 principles of real leadership that were things that he needed to work on, and he is definitely working on those things. So that's that. All right, and Nola is getting ready to start the 30-day listening challenge to see what that does. So she has been there, my personal experimenter from day one. She my day one. All right, so we are doing working memory. And what I'm going to do is give you 4 numbers, and we'll start a new working memory on the 1st. We will start a new working memory on the 1st, but we're going to close out June with this. And so how this working memory works is, the hard part was committing to it. So now that I got paid, I'm getting out of the comfort zone. Okay. And it's and anybody that is willing to chime in to say that it's better than you think, and it's not as challenging as you think. And y'all can be like, bullshit, Dr. Donna, that ain't what happened. But okay. If you want to share your experience about your first challenge and what you felt, go ahead and help Jessica understand what that was like. Because I'm not going to put words into your mouths. Okay, so we're going to do working memory. And so working memory is this. I give you 4 numbers. You take those 4 numbers and you add the number 3 to those individual numbers. And then you will see me by Monday, and that's my actual setting my standards high. Nola said, I have 365 days under my belt and like 45 days out from finishing another. Yes. So when Nola started, there were no 30-day challenges for her to participate in. So she just had to go and do the 365 challenges. But y'all can thank the lives, because the live showed me that 365 was just too much to jump in. And now that I know that the amygdala is the probleme, 30-day challenges work. Okay, so here's how the working memory goes. I'm going to give you 4 numbers. You're going to add 3 to each individual number, and then you're going to say the number, type the number backwards. I'm going to tell you the number 3 times, and then you're going to add 3 to each individual number and type the result backwards. So today's number is 1352. 1352. 1352. Okay, Nola in the house, yes. And she got her high school honors grad high school diploma in a drawer or in a shelf. And she has both of those certificates sitting right in front of her desk on the wall, looking at them. And now the new one is the banner on her Facebook page and Twitter. And I guess the third one will be the same thing. So 5864, that is correctamundo. It's in a box. But those 2 degrees, she's like, I worked too hard. I'm like, you was an honor grad. She's like, I worked too hard for these. She got them in frames. Then went and printed them out. We got a frame and got them. She said, I got to make space because this other one is coming. So I'm going to put all 3 of them. And Kevin has them in his office on 2 different walls because he has just been rolling out. Definitely. He said he's running out of space. Nola at this point, my brain can't wrap my head around that yet. And it's okay. It's definitely okay. And there were no 30-day challenges at that point. So she had to, those were the only options. And now y'all can see why there was an 85 to 90% drop off rate, because it was 3. And if you missed a day in the 365, guess what happened? Start over. So I had a student in Spain looking for a hot spot. And she was like 200 and some days in when she went to Spain. The people was like, you on vacation? You got, yeah. I got to turn and say, you crazy? You met Dr. Donna? No, I'm not starting over. Shoot, people had more than me when they graduated. I just had the one chord. That doesn't matter, sweetie. You still did good. It was hard. You finished the 11th and 12th grade together. So you finished high school a year early, and you combined the 11th and 12th grade and had a 4.0 on a weighted scale, and it was only 11 honors grad in the class. That was 217, and you was ranked number 17 in the class. So yeah, that part. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I am very stern with the start over too, says Sabrina. Yes, ma'am. Because I too had to start over. And so starting over builds character. I've had people get to day 28 in a video challenge and have to start over. And their second video challenge dwarfed the first video challenge. And they were like, man, I'm glad I had to start over because I didn't even know that was inside of me. Scroll up to see what I said. I have 365 days under my belt and 45 days from finishing another. I saw that, Miss Rogers. And then you said, shoot, people had more than me when they graduated. I just had the one chord. I started reading Real Leaders Wear Pink. Oh, at 11. I had to start with RO 365. Yes, that's correct. I forgot about that. Nola had to read Real Leaders Wear Pink. Yes, I see that. Well, yeah, that was part of it, Regina. So part of the criteria was that I wanted to see if the research is true and you can rewire you can start a neural pathway in 8 to 10 days, then can you start a new neural pathway with something that you're not good at? So we added, because you know me, I got to set and maintain high standards. I didn't just want to be, well, let's see if you can speak Spanish in 10 days. So like, no. How does this attach to real leadership? And so he went through the 74. That was the criteria. Pick 4 that you need work on, that you aren't doing well in, and let's see what happens. Because that's the objective. That's what's stopping you from becoming your best. If you're already good at financial literacy, then there's no reason for you to build technical competence. But if you need to listen, then you're not listening. Then now you need to focus on listening, because there ain't even no neurons firing off for listening. Let's see if you could go from it ain't happening to can it happen in 8 to 10 days. So it's very effective. I don't know what it's going to turn into after he finishes. If I'm going to just group it together, you do a realistic challenge, and then it's those neural pathways under it. But we'll figure it out. It's progress, not perfection. Okay, so today, go ahead and type in what you learned today and what did you learn about yourself. And I know we are over, but this was necessary. I had to share with you what was taking place so that you don't think that it's just all berries and cherries for me. So what did you learn today and what did you learn about yourself? Because that's not how this works. This is reality in full effect. I walk the walk. I do not talk the walk. And a lot of experts and leaders go on their past track record. And when you're unaccountable, you do that because you don't think that you can then do something totally different from anything else that you've done before and excel at it. Because it's one thing to try it, but it's something totally different. That's correct, Regina. It's totally different to do it when you have no background in it and do it at a standard of excellence. So I'm not just wearing brain t-shirts and talking about the normal things that people talk about with the brain. I need to know what's stopping people from becoming their best. And current research is the amygdala. The amygdala is causing problems. And that isn't to say that one thing about research is they say, oh, this is what we thought. At one point, they thought you couldn't create neuroplasticity. Whatever neurons you had, that was it. And what you got is what you got. Can't teach your old dog new tricks. And now with more research, they found that that isn't true. And neuroplasticity is a real thing. It is 1000% there. And synaptic connections are there. And we're finding out more and more about the brain and new brain information every day. But one thing is certain with day 10, 2 things that keep popping up every day is that prefrontal cortex and that amygdala. Know what, Regina? So what did you learn today and what did you learn about yourself? So always be learning. And it's hard. I mean, you think about it. I mean, I failed that doggone module 4 with all that physics and chemistry on it. I failed that test twice. I got a 33 and then a 61 and then a 93. I ain't never had to take a test 3 times to get it. Well, they didn't let me take the test 3 times. I either had it or I didn't. Kevin said today, identify areas of success and adjust where needed. Yes. So amygdala regulation is what I am working towards, because my brain is not happy about the change in the whole entire day routine. It's because usually I might do one or two things, but I have ripped it apart, sunsetted the whole thing. Jessica, I am learning to get out of my comfort zone and found myself making excuses now, and I am learning to visualize my goals, and I'm picking higher standards. So now I'm true that. Yes. So it is progress, not perfection. And we all reserve the right to get better. Applying ourselves will allow for growth if we are intentional and open to learning a different way and integrating the feedback. Yes. Lola said, I'm growing forward and understanding still. Thanks for helping me and educating me. My pleasure. Because I know that there is, and I don't quote Les Brown often because of my interactions with him, but there is greatness inside of you, not standing. I got that. Nola, I learned the amygdala is just going to make you emotional no matter what. If you allow it, it's your responsibility from the prefrontal cortex to regulate it. So it does have a role. It's not the appendix. It actually does have value. You need it, but it's playing too big of a role. It was supposed to be a background artist, and it didn't turn to try to be in the lead. I'm going to be in the lead. I memorized the whole script. It's like, no, you were a background artist. How did you get all the way on the front of the stage singing off key? Noah said, I learned about myself. Most things can be solved by being in the prefrontal cortex all the time. Yes, by letting things process through the prefrontal cortex and then send out all the messages everywhere else. Now, you also want the gut brain to receive. So you let all of the synaptic connections send the messages to the prefrontal cortex and where it needs to go. And then you let it process what it needs to process objectively and then take action. That's why I say all the time, be objective is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, because you just base your decisions off the facts. As soon as you start basing your decisions off the heart and the emotion, it's a done deal. I have never made an amygdala decision and said, look at that decision sitting over there. I'm so proud of you. Look at that amygdala decision. She mine. I'm going to stay with her. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're just like, why? Inhibition control is like, don't do that. Don't say that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And the amygdala like, fuck that. I'm getting ready to say this shit. I'm about to do this. Yep. And then the working memory has to clean up the mess. Okay. How are we going to solve this now? Sabrina said, processing through the prefrontal cortex is done through logical facts and disregarding the amygdala. Yes. It's just like, that's not true. It's not a saber-toothed tiger standing over there. It's a growth opportunity. It's not. We got to leave the comfort zone. It's like, no, I'm going to stay here. I don't want to learn how to listen. I don't want to handle conflict when it occurs. No. You like, sit down. Be quiet. Okay, here's a binky. I got to go handle conflict when it occurs. I learned about the 8 benefits of setting high standards. Yes, just like my heels, my standards, you have to stay focused on that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That amygdala will drag you all over everywhere. You will be sitting somewhere like, how? Just give it a name. Just give it a name and start talking to it. Kevin said, my greatest improvement came after embracing flaws. Yes, flaws and all. Yeah, people see you now. I bet they do, Lola. Oh my goodness. Yes. So I believe that this was a great live. I understand that we have gone immensely over. Sometimes it's necessary. Hopefully y'all don't have a lot to do today because it is Saturday, but I had to explain everything that is taking place because, as always, I don't do anything without a strategy. So if I'm doing something and you don't understand it, feel free to ask me why, and I'm going to tell you the logical reason why I am doing something. And if I no longer doing it, I'm going to tell you the logical reason why I stopped it. So I could turn a previous yes into a current no, or I could turn a previous no into a current yes. I have the ability, and you do too, in this amazing brain. Yes, lots of information, lots of logical information though. And so I'm showing you this process. We are in the show me phase, so you all can see how it's done. Because in your own life, you are going to get to a point where you have been doing something for years. And now it's time to grow past that. And the amygdala is not going to want you to do that. And so it's going to send all these comfort messages through everywhere so you won't do it. But it is time to do it. So you have to say, I did that. And so there's nothing, no one, no influencer can come to me and say, yeah, but did you? And yeah, but did you? Because what do people need to see? I went viral. It's at the top of 2 pages. That's what you need to see. I've been paid for my influence. That's what you need to see. Consistency posting. You need to see that. Comments, thousands of comments. All of that, I've done that. So there is no reason. Barbara Walters said I did that already. I don't have to keep doing it. I know how to do it. I can tell you how to do it. So what is the purpose of continuously doing it over and over again? Because what happens is in the reward system, you don't get that same dopamine boost anymore. And that's why people go away and then come back or do something and come back, because you got to stop. If you keep doing it, the dopamine isn't going to be there, because it's like we did that already. Well, I'm gonna give you some dopamine for something that you keep doing every day. And so there is no new reward for it. And that's why you have to keep growing, because now you are getting a new dopamine for something new. And then you have this whole fulfilled dopamine experience that occurs on a day-to-day basis. That's better than, oh, I'm gonna do something funny on TikTok so they'll laugh at me right now, because that's immediate gratification. And you need the other people for that dopamine. But I don't need the other people for my dopamine. Me being live today is my dopamine. Me preparing, learning, growing, and giving you this information, I already have my dopamine. So I don't need y'all to tell me how cute I am and how much you like my shirt in order for me to feel validated. I was validated when I wrote my notes this morning. Okay, and Regina said, I also learned that I need to challenge myself to do something new that will help me grow and become a more capable person. Yes, and on that, I will close. So what I am showing you is that even though I am Dr. Donna, number one, I'm still humble. I cut boxes up at my daughter's appointments. I sweep floors. I lint roll. I break up styrofoam and everything else, because I do that. That's why Jesus washed the disciples' feet. So I'm not going to get caught up in some big ass ego making me think I'm better than everybody else. That's not at all the case. So that's number one. Number two, the other reason why I'm always a novice in something is so that I don't think I know everything. I know a lot about a lot, but there is so much more that I can learn so that working memory can stay employed. So you have to have this, I don't know. You have to say adenosine and say until you get it, because now the working memory is still high functioning. That's the other thing. So if you have become, that's what I said, somebody starts saying they did something for 30, 40 years. And what else? Well, no, this is all I do. You don't do nothing else but that. You stay in doing that. That's why I'm not impressed by that. And not that people are trying to impress me, but I'm like, but your brain, what about your brain? You just gonna keep doing that? It's not impressive. What's impressive, if you're trying to brag about something, is, yeah, I'm fucking these words up every day. I don't have no clue about some of this stuff. I'm learning it. But at some point, I'm going to be an expert in this too. And then I'll move on to something else. So I got a lot of track record of expertise in a bunch of different areas in my life because of setting and maintaining high standards. Not just maintaining this one doggone thing, because that's comfort. I could have kept posting and doing exactly what I was doing, and nobody would be like, why are you still doing that? But I know. And that's why it's time to grow. And then Sabrina said, I did not see any of that, but I listened to you and you are grounded. So I believe in what you were saying and made me want to learn more about how my brain works. I agree with that, but part of it is because, again, I make sure dirty hands clean money. So I'm going to always be doing something that appears to be less than I should be doing based upon that. When I went to the Urban Chamber to work with them, they were like, you just so down to earth. I thought somebody like you would be coming. I'm talking to the staff, all kinds of stuff, setting up rooms for Toastmasters and everything. Because again, we are all adults. We are all humans. And now I know the only thing that's stopping somebody from being personally accountable, unaccountable to personally accountable, is neurological. That's it. So with that being that simple, it's just a matter of when are you going to put your amygdala in check and start learning how to be personally accountable? Because that's what it is. I have all the information for you ready to go to teach you how to do it, but it is sitting the amygdala down, giving it a binky, and saying, listen, we got to go be best, okay? So you're about to be extremely uncomfortable and you're going to have a bunch of panic attacks, but just silently do that. And I got to go be my best. Okay, so thank you all for your extended time today. Thank you for all of your questions. Everything has been cleared up. Now you understand the pause for publicly posting on social media on certain accounts, the subscription-based concept and the reason why that's there, and where we are headed neurologically and the purpose of it, so that we can all have a better existence in the communities in which we reside, because everybody has the ability to become their best. Neuromobility is open to all. Everybody that's willing to do the neurological work. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Okay. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power and the universe. Same time, same place, safe brain space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care.